New Gear Day! FX5. It's not a follow-up to any existing line, really. It's not an FX3 Mark II. Obviously, it's not an FX6. But it is sort of a new thing that's going to sit above the FX3 and sort of as a step into / side grade to the FX6 in many ways.
You could take out 80% and I would probably still be happy.
Saying, this is kind of like a little, baby Burano in some
Baby
ways.
Burano.
And, it's not completely untrue. There's a lot of that in there.
Hello and welcome back to the Full Frame Podcast presented by Sony. New Gear Alert.
New Gear Day! Yes, it's true.
Should we crack it out?
Let's do it.
This is it.
Basically us. Yeah.
All my
FX5.
Christmases have come at once.
It's here.
It's finally here. I feel like this is so much hype that there was around the Alpha 7S Mark III because everyone was just like, it's coming. And I think a lot of people were waiting for maybe FX3 Mark II. And that was kind of a lot of hype around that. And then this is just everything that I've ever wanted and more.
Yeah. Well, I think real talk, this is kind of what a lot of people were expecting when the FX2 was kind of brewing. And, the froth is palpable. So let's dig right in.
Yeah. Luckily, I've held it once before. Haven't had a chance to use it yet. But just everything about it is already just something that's so familiar if you're an FX3, FX30, FX2 user. And then obviously having owned an FX6, I know there's some stuff in here that makes it a little bit more similar.
Yeah, well, I think when we get to it, we'll get to this, but it is super interesting because this looks like FX3 that's been beefed up. Yeah. But when you get inside it, it's not that.
It's a new beast.
It's very different.
It's a new beast.
It's going to be a real learning curve for some folks, I think.
Yeah, luckily I got onto that new menu.
You're ready.
Yeah, already. But yeah, overall, it's very familiar to what we're already used to, so many people are using.
Yeah.
But it's got so many other little bells and whistles, even just on the exterior.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about
why don't we take a step back and just put this thing in the frame? So FX5, it's not a follow-up to any existing line, really. It's not an FX3 Mark II. Obviously, it's not an FX6. But it is sort of a new thing that's going to sit above the FX3 and sort of as a step into / side grade to the FX6 in many ways.
Yeah. Just when we get into it. But so many of the features put it more in line with that kind of next tier up even.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of it's an $8,000+ camera, which is going to put it, if you're just out there looking for a new filmmaking camera, it is going to be in the same ballpark as an FX6. So, it's obviously less set up as a cam, although of course it's going to be an extremely powerful A cam if you choose to use it that way. But this is more, you're kind of like your B cam, your mobile camera, but it has a lot of guts. It's got some incredible capabilities in there.
Yeah.
So, the headliner is probably going to be the new sensor. It's, a completely new sensor, fully stacked, fast reading. It's going to give you open gate, I think, is, probably what a lot of people have really been waiting for.
Yeah. Full 3x2 open gate.
Exactly. So you're
on that higher resolution sensor as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So bigger resolution with that open gate.
Yeah.
So it's 5K.
That's right. Yeah. So you do have the flexibility now to, get a little bit of crop in on the sensor if you need to. You also now get our dynamic active stabilization. And that's something that, it is sensor stabilized as well. Yep. But if you then want to get that real kind of gimbal-like stabilization, you can also kick in that electronic. And, from everything we've heard from creators who've used this already, it is kind of a real game changer.
Yeah, because you're already shooting that slightly larger frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's right.
Yeah. So got the open gate. We've got now also in terms of recording modes, we have onboard RAW, which is massive.
So XOCN.
That's right.
In camera.
Yeah, massive. XOCN LT, which is, if you're coming from your Burano, your Venice, XOCN LT would be your most lightweight. So LT is light.
Yeah.
So it would be your lowest data rate codec from those, cinema cameras. But bringing it down into this level of production, it's still a lot of data.
Yeah, and I think that's why you said it's a sidestep from the FX6 in a way, because the FX6 amazing for run and gun with the built-in ND and everything else, but having XOCN internal puts it like, yeah, this is great B cam or A cam.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, and we've had people saying, you know, oh, this is kind of like a little, you know, baby Burano in some ways.
Baby Burano.
And, you know, it's not completely untrue. There's a lot of that in there. So yeah, XOCN is going to be offering, yes, the LT mode. You're also going to have a C1 and C2, which are just kind of, you know, higher levels of compression as well. At the C2 level, you're going to be having sort of similar data rates to a XAVCS-I 10-bit 422 recording.
That's pretty good because Sony's already kind of leading the market, I think, in terms of the quality to compression kind of ratios that you get. Yeah, there's obviously lots of other different formats floating around the market and, you know, they look great, but the data sizes are just huge.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that has always been, you know, part of our philosophy is, you know, these things need to be usable. They're tools.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if they're spitting out stuff that's going to chew up your media or not be editable, there's no meaning.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some of the headline stuff.
Oh, there's one more headline that I'd love to touch on. The FX3 really made its name out of low light performance. I mean, following on from the Alpha 7S3.
Yes.
How's this doing low light?
Well, this one has an extra little trick up its sleeve.
Yeah.
So
I was waiting for this to surface.
Where the FX3 has the 2 base ISO, on the FX5 we now have 3 base ISO.
Yeah.
So
exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. So yeah, we now have the 800, we've got the 12800 at the top, and then we have 4000 in the middle.
Yeah, splitting the difference is good. I think it makes it a bit more usable. I always felt kind of silly shooting 12.8 and then being like, why am I shooting at f7.1?
I've got this ND filter.
Because I need to ND. Yeah, so I think that just adds a little bit more usability, just kind of being able to split the difference. I think it also makes it a really good camera that you're putting into a larger ecosystem. Because like that 4000 is the same with, if you're matching it with Burano, it's 4000. Venice Mark 1 is 4000.
Yes.
Alpha 1 Mark 2, also 4000. I feel like the ecosystem is like talking to itself.
Yeah. It's all kind of got an internal logic to it that's consistent. Yeah.
So yeah, having something in the middle, I think, makes this really usable. Like that, to me, is one of the most important features, actually.
Yeah. No, I think workability, and especially when you're talking about a camera that doesn't have the variable ND built in. This is kind of like a nice midway point there as well.
Yeah.
It's also got the dual gain output at 800, so you can essentially have the camera reading and giving you an extra sort of stop of latitude in the shadows.
Similar to what the Alpha 7R Mark 6 introduced.
That's right.
But obviously with the even faster read speed.
It does cut out some of your higher frame rates when you're in dual gain output. So, you go from having, open gate 60p down to 30p if you're in dual gain output, that sort of thing. But, it makes sense. You're reading more data out of the sensor, or you're reading it through multiple channels, so it just takes a little bit longer.
Speaking of frame rates. Yeah.
So we've got, out of the box, if you were to buy this camera day one, you've got 4K 120p, you've got open gate at 60p, but I think maybe the bigger story is going to be that, we're announcing on the camera announcement, there's also a firmware update that is coming.
Yeah, so not yet, but
not yet.
It is capable of it.
The hardware is capable, and we're targeting August 27, but that's subject to change. That's the target.
Okay.
So that's going to be 240p at 4K. Yeah,
I did know that when we did the briefing, but that is just
it's huge.
It's huge. I think it just opens up the use case for so many more applications just outside of like what people are currently using, say, like an FX lineup for.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, really, until this point, if you wanted to get, 10x slow-mo, you were having to make some compromises.
Either resolution or you were spending some cash.
That's right. Right. So, this is really going to open up that even, one step slower of slow motion. And I think it does have a real impact. When you see 10x slow motion, it's very distinctive.
Yeah.
And that'll be awesome to see that get into more hands.
Yeah. Just I can't even, I'm just picturing the chart that we saw, like with all the frame rates and like what options were available in which. And usually when you take a glance at one of those charts, even 5 years ago, it would be this is grayed out and this isn't available in this. It was like pretty much everything's almost available. There's one or two little, asterisks.
Yep.
But just looking at all the frame rates and codec options, it just looked like, here it is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is very, it's not a hobbled camera by any stretch.
No.
I think the other thing is until now, we've kind of been living in the world of like SD is kind of doing most of what you need is in terms of like your actual cards for your camera. SD was like pretty sufficient, honestly, for a lot of stuff. And then CF Express Type A was like, yeah, look, like if you're going hell for leather or you just want to have kind of something a bit future-proof, then
and if you want S&Q in the highest possible bit rate, then you might need these cards.
Invest in those.
Yeah.
With this camera, it's like, listen, you're going to need CF Express Type A or like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So all your open gate, anything XOCN is going to require you to have the CF Express Type A.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that's I guess sort of your headline, like new record modes, that sort of stuff. But there is a lot in this camera to dive into.
So much more. Do you want to do the exterior of the camera first? Maybe let's do some of the hardware updates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So in terms of the actual physical hardware of this camera, I think the first thing that you see when you look at this from behind, from the business end,
the screen is huge.
It is a massive, massive screen. Yeah. So let's just turn it on so that people can see the screen. At least it's got something on it. So this whole back panel is all screen. It's a 16:9 monitor. The resolution
away from that 3x2.
That's right. We've often run 3x2 monitors,
and that's so we can actually fit the image inside now with all your menus around the outside.
Yeah.
So if you're like a ZV user or an Alpha user, you're probably pretty familiar with a lot of those on-screen displays being overlaid the image, whereas this feels way more like, say, a Burano monitor or a FX6 monitor, where all your key and critical information isn't actually affecting your composition.
Yeah, it's kind of tidied up a little bit. Now, I think the overall layout of the body is going to feel very familiar for anyone coming from an FX3. You've got the joystick on the top. You have this dial at the back, which is similar to what we've done on the FX3, but this is actually closer to your FX6 menu dial where it turns, but also it clicks. So you can do selection from that. And just like with a lot of our FX cameras, this is sort of designed as much to be operated from the top as from behind.
Yeah.
We're imagining people sort of operating it from above as well as from behind.
Yeah, and it's not just an articulating larger screen. It's also the full articulating.
That's right. Yeah. 4-axis, flip out, flip around, all that good stuff. So just like we've been seeing on the A7 Mark V, the A7R Mark VI, all of our recent cameras, although never with a screen
this big. Yeah.
it really is massive.
Yeah.
Anything else that jumps out on the body for you?
Scene is a platform designed to bring creators, photographers, and filmmakers together through events, workshops, and talks across Australia and New Zealand. Whether you're a beginner or have been working professionally for years, there's events to suit everyone. And now, with Scene Rewards program, you can be rewarded for pursuing your creative journey through exclusive benefits such as discounts on tickets, exclusive Sony merch, and invitations to talks, workshops, and much more. Join the Scene community at sony.com.au/scene or sony.co.nz/scene to learn more. We're doing away with a couple of the cover ports.
Yes.
But that just makes the headphone jack and the microphone jack more accessible.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind this. I mean, this was similar to the FX2, but just having the ports open just means that there's not another piece of plastic that's dangling, creating noise on the body, especially when you're running audio in at that very point.
And I mean, we've seen a lot of people wind up just shearing those off because they don't want the hardware. I think it's a positive move. I guess something that is going to be really relevant for a lot of people is we have moved to the SA battery.
Yeah.
So, where everything previously has been on the Zs, we are getting a bit of extra battery life with this, with the SA, which is, I think, look, more battery life is always welcome. Of course, having to change over your battery ecosystem is a bummer.
Yeah.
But, it's not like there's no payoff here.
Oh, the payoff is 5K open gate.
Well, yeah, that's also
and then
true.
in a couple of months' time, 4K 240.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm happy to get an extra battery if that's what it means.
Yeah, I think that'll be good.
I just noticed as well, it's got the two quarter 20 mounting points on the bottom, similar to the FX2.
That's right.
That's amazing. It seems like such a small thing that's not even worth mentioning, but anyone who's ever put a camera on a gimbal or mounted anything inside a cage and you've always got that like
little bit of
wiggle room and play, like that is worth its weight in gold.
Well, actually, so on that subject, let me grab another prop here. All right. So
yes,
the top handle, it wouldn't be an FX body without a top handle.
Ooh.
So this is what will come bundled with the camera.
It's got a cover on
it. But the thing that you made me think of here is the top handle is a new unit. You won't be able. It's not interoperable with the old versions. It's a little bit more sturdy than what we've had previously.
Yeah.
So it will put up with a little bit more abuse than the previous ones. But it also has, if you look at the 1/4-inch threads on the handle itself.
Yeah, it's got mounting points everywhere.
And it also has locating pins for every 1/4-inch thread.
Yeah.
So that means if you've got an accessory you want to mount on there, which you want to keep you don't want it rotating randomly, then you can have feet with locating pins that'll keep it really locked in.
Yeah, that's really good. And this is also the XLR handle that now supports 32-bit float.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I think, that is fast becoming the new industry standard. So, obviously we want to be supporting that.
Yeah.
And that'll be for, all your channels through the handle. Only through the handle, though, is
only
worth
through
saying.
the handle, yeah.
So if you're just coming in directly through the 3.5mm port on the body, you're still going to be in 16-bit land.
Yeah. I know a lot of videographers and filmmakers out there that are using 3.5, but in all honesty, ever since I switched to a 6, the idea of even having 32-bit float, but from XLR is more attractive anyway.
Yeah.
Just because the signal itself is so much more
That's right. You don't get a very robust signal through 3.5.
Yeah.
So I think, a lot of people who are using 3.5 right now, I would imagine often are using it for scratch rather than being like a critical path.
Yeah. So even though that's XLR, but 32-bit float then into the camera, that's really a really attractive option.
Yeah.
I think awesome.
The other accessory though,
this is the one I'm most excited for.
All right, this is the last thing in my bag of tricks. It's not going to be an endless. There's a clown car down there. So this is the new viewfinder.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see this when we did the briefing. It wasn't available yet.
It's a beautiful viewfinder. Nice. Oh, so let's actually, this is a really good thing I want to point out. So there's a special port on top of the camera specifically for this viewfinder.
With a nice little cover.
Yeah. We had a few people who were very excited to put this viewfinder on their existing FX3 or somehow their FX6. I'm not sure how that would work. But
with a lot of glue.
Yeah. where physics. Anyway. Unfortunately, this is specifically an FX5 accessory, much as we would love to.
And that goes in here as well.
Yes, and that's right. So this little door, which is the first thing that people will lose when they get their viewfinder, it actually lives inside the viewfinder. It's got a home. So remember that. It will save your door from getting lost.
That was the first thing I lost on my FX6, the cover for the.
Or you get a battery grip for your camera, and the battery door is instantly lost.
Yeah.
But they have homes. So yes, new viewfinder. It tilts up, just like your FX2 viewfinder.
I like that it's detachable though, because like you were saying earlier, if this was a B or C cam, mounting it is just, there's not this additional thing that you have to worry about.
100%.
Yeah.
It's there you can see. Very nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Big resolution and really great optics as well. I think it's just a real pleasure to use that viewfinder.
That is beautiful.
Obviously, just it's got diopter adjustment, all that sort of stuff.
I like that. I like the idea of shooting kind of like shoulder height or lower, but still being able to have an EBF.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Feels nice.
Yeah, it's a great piece of kit. So that will be we won't sell a bundle with the viewfinder. It'll always be an optional add-on. Yeah. And pricing is going to be around $1,000.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not going to be for everyone. I think, there's a lot of people who will be very happy just rigging their FX5 exactly like they'd rig their FX3.
Yeah.
But, it's a different way of working with the camera. And definitely I think
I kind of fell in love with it though from using the FX2.
It's a real
hard
pleasure.
to go back.
Yeah.
It's hard to go back.
Yeah.
One thing I will mention though, as opposed to the FX2, where that was really pushed as like a hybrid camera, you being able to use stills and video from that body.
Yes.
This is completely the opposite way.
This is a video camera.
Video camera.
And in fact, you cannot take a still image on this camera.
Yeah.
So
it still produces shot marks.
Yes, you can extract stills from video footage that you've shot, but it is really dedicated. There's no physical shutter. And I think that's really planting a flag, right? It's saying this is a camera that is 100% for video.
Yeah.
And I think we're ready. In terms of ins and outs, you do have a you do have a network port on this one as well. It's got the
we'll go through that.
RJ45. So for people who are looking at doing networked production stuff, that sort of thing, it's got the full size HDMI, the Type D. We're not going to this has not gone to a SDI standard. So we're sticking with HDMI. I think for small scale production, that's the right. The right interface.
Yeah. And then dual USB-C ports.
Yeah. So like many of our other cameras, now you can run an accessory and also run power simultaneously.
Yeah. Awesome.
What other stuff is there to take a look at on this one? Big 6 is a huge interface
Got a
change.
dedicated home button now for the Big 6?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's a good segue actually into having a bit of a chat about the user experience.
Yes.
Which is, really, really very different. And I think, to get a little maybe inside baseball here, but the FX3 and the FX2, they really feel like cameras which have a lot of shared DNA with the alpha cameras. And I don't know, I don't know how the engineering teams are set up in Japan when they design these things, but it feels very familiar. You come out of an alpha camera, you set up an FX3 and you know where you're going. Everything's in familiar places. There's no problems.
Yeah.
The FX5 feels like it was built by the team that made the FX6.
Yes.
And probably some of the other high-end bodies. It is, it's not radically different, but it is, where things live in the menu, what kind of menu you're looking at, and just simple ideas about how much is in your kind of quick menus and how much is in your full menu.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not one-to-one.
Yeah, because I think, interestingly, video is, I would say, like often sometimes much more complicated than stills, but you actually change your settings less.
Yeah.
So the DNA that's in all the hybrid bodies, it needs to be there because you've got all of this information that needs to be present for still.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is just like, this is the project. This is everything that lives in the project.
Yes.
This is how you're going to monitor it.
Yeah.
Here's all your audio stuff. I really like that layout, getting a bit more familiar with it now with the FX6.
Yeah.
But I like the menu layout. It's everything that you need to access is far quicker to access.
Yes.
And then the things that you never touch are like buried somewhere.
Yeah. And you do have that kind of big distinction between your full menu, which is a long press of the menu button, and then your quick menu, which is a short press.
Yeah.
And you do have certain things like frame rates often are better accessed through your quick menu or your Big 6, whereas if you want to be setting up your recording format or things that are less likely to change within a particular shooting project, that's going to live in your long press, your full menu.
Yeah.
But again, I think it is going to be a confusing experience for some people coming from an FX3.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I would my message to anyone who's having that experience is just persevere with it. It is. I've come more recently from the FX3 than from shooting on the FX6s, and I certainly had quite a few moments in getting familiar with this camera where I went, "What? Where's the thing?" I know what I want, and it just can't. It's not where it should so obviously be.
Yeah.
But just take a moment. Check your manual. It is all there. You just got to kind of find the way to get to it.
Yeah, because I think from an alpha series or even like early FX, you have a tendency to think that, all right, things to do with like image sizing or stabilization are all going to live in the one spot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like in here, it's just a little different where it's like, is it relevant to, the operation of the camera or is it relevant to the exact project settings you want? And that's kind of the really big distinction.
Yeah. It's like a different internal logic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already just noticed more stuff that I want to talk about.
Great, let's go.
noise reduction. You have the ability to now tweak your noise reduction.
Yes.
Yes. So that puts it much more in line with FX6 and Burano and upwards. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it's a really nice thing to surface, especially for the intended audience for this camera.
Yes.
You expect people are going to have their much more access and understanding of the tools to manage noise. So, kicking that back into the user's hands is a really nice move.
Yeah, and that's available in flexible ISO as well. So, Cine AI, flexible ISO, you've got like low, medium, and high.
Yep.
Yeah, so same as the FX6.
Yeah, Cine AI, obviously, is kind of the what we expect a lot of people will be using this camera in. But yeah, flexible ISO is still there. So if you want something a little bit more run and
if
gun,
I've paid for Cine AI, I'm going to use Cine AI.
that'll work really, really well. Other things that we could cover off here. So just like all the other FX series cameras, of course, it is going to be actively cooled. So, obviously that's kind of a through line through the whole series. You expect it, but even at your highest record modes, there's going to be no issues with heating, this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that really contributes to that is, having the latest processor as well. That we've seen that on the A7 Mark V, the A7R Mark VI. That efficiency just means that not only are you getting great battery life, but you're also generating less heat.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we've got our own ideas, but Clyde, like, where do you see this sitting? Who's going to be going out and picking up an FX5?
Well, hopefully every FX3 owner that wants to
We'd love to see that.
We'd love to see that. In all honesty, I think the market is just only growing and growing and growing for video. And, like people that are using FX3s for production or even all the way down to like content creation, I still don't think you would be dissatisfied with your FX3. I think it's still going to hit it out of the park time and time again.
And to be clear,
yeah,
FX3 is going to be ongoing. There's no question.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like that camera's already made its name in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just that next step. And I think from I wouldn't really call it strategy, but the FX3 left such an impact on the industry that timing wise, you go, all right, we've had this camera in market for 4 to 5 years. Those same professionals or beginners or filmmakers that started with an FX3 around that time,
yes,
their career has probably progressed to a point where they're like, I need this thing now.
Yeah. I think people are ready.
Yeah, people are ready. And it's exciting that, someone who maybe started on a, say like an Alpha 7 III, because I feel like that made an impact. You start there, then you're like, all right, I'm ready for an FX3. And now it's been 6 years later and you're like, all right, this is it. I'm ready to pull the trigger again. And this is the next thing that's going to support your career.
Yeah. I think, especially, for people who've been using FX3 for a while, there's also like some really nice UX tools in this one that they're going to really appreciate. Things like a lot of the visualizations. So things like your vector scopes, your waveform, your focus map. All these tools that you don't really know about or care about when you get started in video.
Yeah.
But
and then you're like, that's the best thing ever.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I saw a waveform, I was like, I have no concept of in what world this would ever be useful for anybody. But then, you use it and you're like, oh, this is actually like solves so many of my problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone who's kind of been crying out for those tools is going to be very excited to see that here.
Yeah, I think there's just so much in here. I'm honestly just going through and trying to find more and more stuff that that we need to touch on because having waveform in camera as well, like that is we've got waveform display, gamma display assist, all the stuff we're used to.
Yep. In
terms of the other monitoring tools, like other than the waveform,
right? So false colors on board.
Yeah.
We've got vector scope. I think like most of the kind of core monitoring tools that you would want to have are now on board.
Yeah, awesome.
So you don't have to go off. So, a lot of people have sort of been saying to us, now with the larger screen and those monitoring tools, your need to have an external monitor is a lot less.
Yeah. Yeah. And already the larger screen I'm already navigating this way faster. Yeah. I did also notice anamorphic D-squeeze options.
Yes. So I think this goes, really hand in hand with OpenGate. But yes, we have a much more fine-tooth set of anamorphic D-squeeze options now. So your 1.5 and your 1.6, I think those are the key ones for 3.2 pull down into a sort of a cinematic aspect ratio.
Yeah, so we've got the 1.3, 1.5, 1.6, 1.8, and 2 times anamorphic D-squeeze now, which is even better.
Yeah.
And that obviously works with the 3.2, but then you've got the 16:9 in 5K, and then also the 17:9.
Yes.
And then there's obviously like a full frame crop for all your other 4.5K modes. That's the other thing I noticed really quickly. It's not 4K. It's labeled as 4.5K in menu.
Yeah, I think it's, really talking just about the that resolution pull down, so the super sampling.
Yeah, so that's a big distinction though. With most of the alpha bodies, it'll tell you like, hey, this is what we're wrapping it in and giving it to you.
Yeah, that's
Whereas
true.
this is actually what kind of informing you about what the sensor is actually shooting. And I think that's really relevant, especially for people that are shooting towards like the production level with a camera like this.
100%. Yeah. And that also, is important when you're then managing your stabilization modes. If you want to kick in the electronic stabilization, you can't use the full resolution of the sensor because you do have that little bit of crop on the sensor to perform the stabilization.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think anamorphic D-squeeze for people who are looking at this as their kind of top level production camera, complete game changer.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
Okay, another really big thing on this camera that is super important to talk about is just the improvements to autofocus.
Yeah, okay.
So, I think in alpha world, we've kind of been living in AI autofocus land for a long time.
Yeah.
But you kind of forget that like, the FX3 is sort of, kind of from before that era.
Yeah.
And so now we do have, all that human pose estimation stuff for shooting people. We have, more advanced subject detection. I think, one thing that you see in the alphas that you won't see here is, we don't have the vehicle detection stuff that's specific to stills currently in alpha.
Yeah, okay.
But definitely, humans, animals, your kind of core subject tracking
all those
targets.
fails, touch tracking.
Always.
On the bigger screen too, like it's going to be so good.
It's going to be delightful. But yeah, I think, this is definitely going to be, for people who've been maybe pioneering a bit more, relying on autofocus, this is going to be a next step. Let's talk in just a little bit more detail about the firmware update that is coming.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's more than just, hey, 240p.
That's right, yeah. So, I mean, I think there's a few things in there, but probably the other big thing that I want to mention is currently, if you want to shoot OpenGate on the FX5, it does have to be an XOCN.
Yeah.
So those two things are kind of hand in glove. But with the firmware update, that will be available in a XAV-CSI wrapper.
Oh, okay, cool.
So if you want to shoot something, I think especially if you're shooting with other cameras that might need to be an XAV-CSI, don't have access to your XOCN, and you want to keep things completely consistent.
Yeah.
It is just going to be a nice option to have, and it is, I think conspicuous in its absence on the base model.
Yeah, it's this one's going to be a hard unpack because there's just there's so much in here. But quickly, I will just talk about those codec options before we go into all about the firmware update.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just giving us a few more options in terms of compression, but also just so you can save some space. So you've got the Longop 420, then you've actually got a Longop 422 as well. And then SI, and that's when then we bump up to the XOCN. So it's just giving us a lot of flavors to work with.
Yeah. There's very little lockout in this camera. There are definitely some cases where specific stuff won't be available, but for the most part, a lot of flexibility in your chroma pull down, your use of Longop, all that sort of stuff.
Like when I'm shooting a lot of long form stuff like podcasts, it's always nice to just bump it back down to Longop, but we get the 422. Like that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
just for color matching, but not retaining that huge file size.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You do have to economize sometimes.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That I just like that there's a few more flavors in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there are a couple more things about the firmware I just wanted to touch on. Yep. One was that. So obviously the headliner is the 240p 4K, but we're also going to get an option when you're shooting open gate, currently it's just locked into XOCN.
Yeah.
But with the firmware update, you'll then be able to have an option to capture in XAVCSI in
awesome.
open gate.
Yeah, okay.
So, that's going to entail sort of a new wrapper and what have you from a technical point of view, but definitely from a workflow point of view, it's going to make life a lot easier.
Yeah, just having you don't have to go to RAW if you want that extra croppability or extra framing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome.
There's a couple more things that are coming with that firmware update. One is a frame grab feature. The other is some optimizations to the vertical shooting interface.
Okay.
I think, look, it is pretty minor stuff. The headliner is definitely the 240, and then, maybe a minor thing for that XAVCSI open gate.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right.
Thoughts, feelings, opinions.
Look, I mean, I think no matter how you slice it, like this thing is going to have a huge impact.
Yeah.
It's going to become probably, for a lot of people, the de facto preferred camera, for the primary capture for a lot of production work. It just is.
Yeah, definitely. And I like that it's 5K. I feel like if I want 8K, I can shoot on an Alpha 1.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just want a nice clean 4K, the FX6 exists, the FX3 exists. I like that it's a slight bump in resolution, but not at the expense of, huge resolution, huge file sizes. It just feels like, you want a really nice, clean, sharp image, triple base ISO, raw codec.
Yeah.
Awesome. There you go.
It's like 4K with elbow room, right?
Yeah.
You're not trying to. You're still going to deliver 4K. Like that's the world we live in. We're not about to be delivering 8K any day soon.
No.
But sometimes you do. For production reasons, whatever. You just want to have that little bit of extra room to wiggle.
Yeah, like little animated slow zoom in on a static clip. Ooh,
mm-hmm.
Chef's kiss. I think I said Chef's kish, I think I said. But yeah, Chef's kiss. It's just, we did a briefing with it with a few others in the little Sony Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all just kind of like, oh, the briefing was cool, thank you, but how do we get one?
And I mean, there's so many other things that we just won't have covered. I mean, even just little things like there's this new like little locating tab on the mount, so you can feel where you got to put the white dot for your lens. I mean, just lots of tiny little touches. Yeah,
there's a lot of small little refinements just over the body. Obviously, still tally lamps, all of the kind of full cinema package kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It feels so familiar, but the build of it itself is just really, really pretty.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this for long enough now that, we're down to getting things just very refined.
Yeah.
And it does feel like a refined piece of kit. Okay. So we also should talk about the updates that are coming to monitor and control.
Yeah.
So by the time this goes live, that'll be announced.
Yep.
And the monitor and control app. So, I mean, this thing's been out for a long time. We've talked about it before.
Yeah. We've been ranting about it before.
We have, shouting from the rooftops. So, monitor control is receiving its version 3.0 update.
Yeah.
And this one, I mean, I think for a lot of the user base, it's not going to be like a big change, but there are a lot of new features coming to the sort of premium plans.
Okay.
So I think the main thing, if you're just a everyday user, you don't pay for a plan or anything like that, is going to be the addition of a vector scope.
Yeah, always handy.
Great tool, I think.
Awesome tool.
Fantastic. I mean, it already had a lot of visualization options, but one extra is a great thing to add in. The other things that we're adding in with this new firmware update, though, are going to be for essentially the top end, the premium plan. And this is something that's aimed not so much even at small production companies, but this would be like pretty heavy duty production.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably the biggest feature that we're adding is the EL zone visualization. So this is similar to false color, but it is sort of a specific implementation that really gives you a great tool for getting exactly repeatable exposure. So it sits your, you got false color, so it's going sort of gray is at 18% gray. And then you have cool colors below that and warm colors above that.
Yeah.
And so, you can do really really good rule of thumb things. Like, for example, if you want to expose someone's face just right, then you want to have, most of it being kind of that 18% gray with like a little bit of yellow on the key side.
Yeah.
And just being able to do that, on multiple cameras from shot to shot, make sure that your skin tones are sitting in exactly the same spot from camera to camera, from shoot to shoot, from location to location.
Yeah.
It gives your production a level of consistency that it's very hard to achieve otherwise.
Yeah, I think for people that haven't worked with this kind of workflow before, like false color in camera is awesome. But if you are trying to shoot, a busy scene, you're trying to compose your image, direct, you've got a lot on your plate, actually watching the false color on the monitor isn't always the easiest.
Yeah.
So having something like monitor and control where you've actually got a second set of eyes monitoring exposure, and then you're just actually operating the camera.
Yeah.
And that's actually something I noticed that, FX3 wasn't able to do, but FX5 and FX6 can do, is you can actually split the LCD and the viewfinder to display different information. Yes. So like on FX6, you can have you can watch the S-Log3 clip on the viewfinder, but you can have your clean output to the monitor and vice versa. So you could do false color to your LCD monitor, but then have the clean feed going out to the external monitor.
Yeah.
So that similar thing with monitor and control, you've just got way more like ability to expose your image without having to turn off things off and on every 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you also, with the monitor control, you get the option now to have little clips captured at the start and end of each recording. So little images, which again, in a production workflow is just a handy thing to be able to refer to. What very quickly, what were we shooting here? Like, what's the start and stop? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's really useful for continuity.
Yeah, exactly. The other big feature that we're adding in 3.0 is image overlay.
Yeah.
So, this would go hand in hand with your start and stop, your button on, button off images. But you would be able to check continuity, things like that. Right?
And framing, yeah.
Exactly. So, if you're trying to reproduce the same shot with a degree of precision, or you want to make sure that nothing changes between takes, then being able to overlay an image that you've captured previously and check it, you can see immediately, like this move, that's missing. You can get it perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel like that's so useful for anyone who's working. Yeah, anything that's like narrative based or where reshoots are a possibility or... Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so, I think all this stuff kind of has that through line of, this is not necessarily for your small scale production. This is big stuff. And it makes sense because the premium plan, you're talking about, 30 Australian dollars, 30 to 40 Australian dollars a month. You know, it's a serious investment. It's a serious tool.
Yeah.
So yeah, not something that everyone is going to need to worry about too much. But if you are doing that higher end production, it's an awesome tool to kind of add into your arsenal.
FX5. We'll just circle back to it though before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Who do you feel like this camera is for?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that probably most center of the crosshairs is going to be the people who have been working with FX3, and as you say, like they've grown up with it, they've grown out of it in a lot of ways, and this is going to be their next kind of bread and butter camera.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's absolutely going to be people who are working with an FX6 who are going to pick this up, and it's going to become it's
this guy right here.
This will probably become your maybe your beauty camera. It's the camera that you use when you can use this workflow, right? FX6 is a workflow tool.
Yeah.
It's a camera that lets you work in a certain way, and in the end, this camera is not going to supplant that completely.
Yeah.
I
feel like I'd whack the 6 on sticks because it's just big.
Yep. Yeah.
And then just do everything else with this.
Yeah. So I think both those groups are going to be really, really happy with what the FX5 offers.
Yeah.
And then, no doubt there's going to be people who are just going to jump straight in onto something like this.
I wish I'd jumped straight into filmmaking on something like this.
It is a big step up and a big step forward. So, I think a lot of what we see in this, of course, like this is pointing the way. So
lighting the way, the tagline.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just, You could take out 80% and I would have probably still been happy. But like, it's just all the little things that add up. Like when we did the briefing, I anticipated higher resolution, maybe a faster frame rate, but not by much. I was expecting maybe 180 at a push. And I was expecting, like dual base ISO. And I was hoping it had a slightly beefier codec. Didn't anticipate full XOCN.
Yeah.
So the fact that it even just has one of those things, I'm like, oh, sweet, it's a clear winner. And then you're thinking like just the 5 key things. It's like slightly higher resolution, XOCN internal, 3 base ISO. And then we're looking at, larger rear screen and, just all the other little bells and whistles that it's
so many things
sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just feels like every little thing that you want to see addressed is there.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So is this one coming home with me or?
I wish.
No.
All
right.
Yeah. We'll be obviously we'll have a lot of things going on with this camera in the coming weeks and months.
Yep.
But yeah, all these bodies are going to be very busy for the next little while.
All right. Thanks so much for coming in and unveiling the FX5.
Yeah, my pleasure. Absolute pleasure. What a treat to get to do this.
Yeah.
I think we because this is such an awesome launch, we kind of wanted to get back and kind of be here for it.
Yeah.
But we need to flag as well that we're not quite back in our full capacity yet.
Yeah.
So
more episodes coming soon.
That's right. Yeah. So we're going to dip in for, I think, 2 episodes right now. So probably this week and next week or the week after.
So if you've watched this one, stay tuned.
Yeah, we've got more to come. But then we are going to have still like a little bit of a break before we get back in earnest. And we expect we'll probably be back like late August, early September. That's when we'll be back to our weekly cadence.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in. That was the Sony Full Frame Podcast. See you next week. Sony is giving away a G Master lens every single month. Yes, you heard that right. Simply register your Sony camera or lens for your chance to win a choice of a G Master lens. When you register your product with Sony, you can keep track of all your product details in one place, get easier access to support, and stay informed about product updates. Don't miss your chance to win. Visit sony.com.au/mysonygear for full details and terms and conditions.